You own Bitcoin on paper, but if that exchange goes under, you and some may or may not get it back. And that's exactly what happened with FTX in 2022. Billions of dollars of customer funds were gone. Well, your Bitcoin lives on an exchange and they're holding it for you. It's in their account, not yours. What does a mini Kelly have to do with this? I'm sending her to the RealReal to sell. She's sitting in their warehouse waiting for a buyer who actually owns her. I do on paper, but if the RealReal goes bankrupt before she sells, I'm in on a line of creditors hoping to get something back. You have three main options and they are not all created equal. $500, I would buy it on a reputable exchange, River, Coinbase, Swan. Get comfortable, learn the interface. $5,000, I would seriously consider a cold wallet. A cold wallet is a physical device that looks like a small little USB drive that actually stores your Bitcoin offline, off the internet, off the exchange. Mini Kelly is worth more when she's in my hands than when she's sitting in a warehouse waiting for somebody else to sell her. Your Bitcoin is the same. In Bitcoin land, we're always stacking sats. Welcome to Stacked, the show that helps you become your own best asset. Because in case you missed it, you're allowed to have a high vibe and a high net worth. Welcome back to Stacked, the show about becoming your own best asset. I'm your host, Emily Dempsey, and today we are going to talk about how to buy your first Bitcoin. All right, so I want to buy my first Bitcoin. Where do I even start? You have three main options, and they are not all created equal. You can buy your Bitcoin on a brokerage, on an exchange, through a Bitcoin ETF, or you can buy real Bitcoin and move it to your own wallet. Let's walk through all three of these because the differences matter way more than most people are going to tell you. Option one, buying Bitcoin on an exchange. So let's walk through what that looks like. We're using Coinbase, River, something like that. So here's the short version. You're going to create an account, verify your identity. They'll ask for your ID. This is totally normal and legal. You'll connect your bank account or debit card. You're going to search Bitcoin, enter the dollar amount that you want to buy, confirm it. That's it. You own the Bitcoin technically. But there is a catch. What do I mean technically? Well, your Bitcoin lives on an exchange and they're holding it for you. It's in their account, not yours, which means you have an IOU, which brings me to my friend. What does a mini Kelly have to do with this? Why am I sending her to the RealReal to sell? Well, think about this. I'm sending her to the RealReal to sell. She's sitting in their warehouse waiting for a buyer who actually owns her. I do on paper, but if the RealReal goes bankrupt before she sells, I'm in on a line of creditors hoping to get something back. And that's exactly what happens with your Bitcoin when it sits on an exchange. You own Bitcoin on paper, but if that exchange goes under, and some have, you may not get it back. We watched this happen with FTX in 2022. Billions of dollars of customer funds gone. Option two, Bitcoin ETFs. What is a Bitcoin ETF and is owning it the same as owning Bitcoin? An ETF is an exchange-traded fund, a financial product that tracks the price of Bitcoin. You can buy it inside a regular brokerage account, your IRA, 401k. BlackRock has one, Fidelity has one. These are legitimate products that became available in the US in January 2024. This was a massive deal, but here's the honest answer. It's paper Bitcoin. You own exposure to the price. You do not own the actual Bitcoin. There is no wallet, there is no key, and if you want the number to go up in your account, the way the ETF works is you want to actually hold sovereign, uncensorable, yours forever asset. You need to own the real thing. Which brings us to option three, a cold wallet or self-custody. What is a cold wallet? So a cold wallet is a physical device that looks like a small little USB drive that actually stores your Bitcoin offline, off the internet, off the exchange. It's in your hands, and it's one of the most common ways people own Bitcoin. There are companies called Ledger, Trezor. They run about $80 to $150. Is it hard to set one up? It's not any harder than buying Bitcoin on an exchange. It's not harder than setting up your first iPhone. You plug it in, you follow the steps, and the most important moment is when it generates your seed phrase. What is a seed phrase? It is like what everybody says it is. Is it secret? It is, because it's your seed phrase. It's typically 12 to 24 words, something like apple, river, candle, mountain, door, in a specific order. And that phrase is your Bitcoin. If somebody gets those words, they will have your Bitcoin. If you lose those words and you lose your wallet, your Bitcoin is gone forever. So write it down, store it somewhere physical, not in your phone notes, not in your email, somewhere real. All right, now what happens if you lose your cold wallet? Nothing happens if you have your seed phrase. You can buy a new wallet, enter those words, everything gets restored. The wallet is just a key. The Bitcoin lives on the blockchain. All right, now let's talk about this. If you are buying $500, $5,000, $50,000, does your strategy change? So imagine this. You have $500, you have $5,000, $50,000. Does the strategy change? In my opinion, yes, the strategy changes. $500, I would buy it on a reputable exchange, River, Coinbase, Swan. Get comfortable, learn the interface. Makes financial sense. $5,000, I would seriously consider a cold wallet and start thinking about self-custody or switching to an exchange that does offer multi-sig authentication, which you can do on a platform like River or Swan. And then over $50,000, definitely would be very seriously considering a cold wallet or a platform that allows multi-sig authorization and where you actually own the Bitcoin. You need to read the terms of service for the exchanges because they are not all created equal. This is extremely important. And again, this is not financial advice. This is my opinion. Mini Kelly is worth more when she's in my hands than when she's sitting in a warehouse waiting for somebody else to sell her. Your Bitcoin is the same. The $500, $5,000, $50,000 strategy, that is how I would think about my mini Kelly. So this very brief episode was a fun way to talk about how to buy Bitcoin. What does it mean owning it? There's 3 different ways: on an exchange, through an ETF, or on your cold wallet, all of which are different options depending on your appetite, your level of risk and comfort with different technologies. And I hope that this encourages you to do some research and explore different ways you might be able to buy your first stats. Stats are what we call the fractions of the actual Bitcoin. So you want to stack your sats. Fun fact, that is part of where the name Stacked for this show came from, because in Bitcoin land, we're always stacking sats. See you guys next week and hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are not following us already, please make sure you're following Stacked everywhere you can be on social media. We are Stacked Assets. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the show, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment and a like. All of your engagement helps us so much as we are so early in the launch of this show. See you guys next week. That's a wrap on this episode of Stacked. If this one added value, share it with someone who's ready to level up their financial life. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, leave a rating and review. It helps us keep the show going and reach more people who are serious about becoming their own best asset. You can subscribe to our newsletter at www.stackedassets.co for weekly intel on Bitcoin markets, business, and living well. Follow along on socials at Stacked Assets or my personal at Emily Dempsey for more on Bitcoin business and building the life you actually want. I'll see you next week. Stay stacked.